That was kind of for me more than anyone else. Hey, everybody.
Beautiful tribe. Welcome to our this is our New Year's satsang. It's such an honor and pleasure to be here today and be able to share in some just some good vibes, some positive vibes, share some different teachings that are relevant to the time that we're in right now. And our hope is that you fill your cup and that you leave just more invigorated, rejuvenated, and just with some tools that you can use
Yes.
to use in your everyday life moving forward.
Yeah, what we'll be sharing tonight comes from some books from one of our wonderful teachers, Ma Jaya Sati Baghavati. Photo here. This is actually a photo wedding gift that was given to us by the woman who did the planning for us up at Kashi Ashram, and we both did the yoga teacher training. Most of you know that already. Separated by 3 years, 2014, 2017. And I was actually having a conversation with another dear brother a few hours ago about what the importance is of daily practice and how I myself can get into this fear context when forgetting about that daily practice of diving into source and the connection thereof. So our hopes are not only is this space here this evening about connecting with that space, whatever that is for each one of us, but also learning some different tools along the way. And some of those tools are from a book called The 11 Karmic Spaces, authored by Ma Jaya, and First Breath, Last Breath, also authored by Ma Jaya. Both of these books are filled with all kinds of gems, as we would call it, in our lineage, in the yogic lineage. And then we'll also be sharing a little bit of breath practice tonight. Nothing too intense for those of you who have a full belly, like me. So we're going to just keep it, as Jen takes a bite, we're going to keep it light, but it's also a daily practice that can be done in your office chair, in a parking lot before getting out for a meeting. And some of the mantra we'll be working with a little mantra tonight, something pretty short, and then some reading from 11 Karmic Spaces. And 11 Karmic Spaces kind of says it in the name, what we're moving through, but a karmic space is also met with a karmic grace. So there could be a karmic space of procrastination. There can be a karmic space of jealousy. There could be a karmic space of anger. And Ma Jaya dives into those karmic spaces in the book and takes you on a step-by-step of really how to utilize these different karmic spaces that we can get stuck in that are actually directly associated with certain chakras as well and belief systems, and can go back ancestrally, but not to get too far down that rabbit hole. These karmic spaces are really around using the karma of anger, for instance, as fuel. And one of the things that she speaks about in the book. And so we'll actually be sharing a link for this book. It's a self-study. It's not a front to back book. Ask me how I know. Anybody who knows that? I say it all the time because I would read one chapter and just set this thing down for like 2 weeks and integrate that in a daily practice, similar to like Course in Miracles when there's different lessons and things, and some of these lessons take a little longer to integrate than others, although those are on a daily. So the thought process and things could shift. It all depends energetically, but for 2024, we are starting in February, so we'll just be with what it is. But from here moving till the end of the year is to reference and do different readings and practices through different breaths and different actual movements. We'll tee that up too. There could be a time where we're actually doing kind of an asana during a satsang, just because they have these asanas in the Kalinatha lineage are mudras. Each movement is unlocking different parts of ourself and our connection with source. But also there can be just simple breath practice like we'll do tonight. And referencing the 11 karmic spaces sort of as an annual study for the satsangs. And what we'll be working with tonight is sort of the, without like in any kind of a training or what have you, or courses, without landing the context of when we say the word, for instance, karma, there could be a lot of different variations of what karma means to each one of us on this particular call. And when karma gets referenced later in the book, reference from that already projection of what karma is can paint the picture differently that's why we're going to start with what is the context of karma, and we'll be doing some brief reading about that.
Yeah, beautiful. And so as I mentioned earlier, every satsang, it's, we tune in to see what the energy is, what's coming through. So it is the Chinese New Year is around the corner, with the new moon in Aquarius. And so that's like the beginning of the year. And then we have the spring equinox, which is the real start to the year. So we're still in that New Year's energy, even though 2023 ended and we've already been a month in. But if we connect ourselves to the cycles of the earth, that new year, it's coming up in March, and also with the beginning of the astrological year, which starts with Aries. So we are in that energy of the new year. And so it's also the year number 8, universal year number 8, the year of abundance. Number 8 is infinity, abundance, an opportunity for us to connect to our personal power and show up as powerful as we can, to really step into our power fully in 2024. We have the energies of the wooden dragon as well, with the year of the dragon. So we have a lot of, really powerful energies to tune in. And so when we were tuning in to who to work with for this satsang, Ganesha showed up. Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. So we're gonna start. With Ganesha.
What we want to do is actually pull something up on the screen and share the screen here and share a little bit about the symbolism of Ganesh, because again, these are practices that can last throughout the year, and we can call upon Ganesh anytime before we're going to do any work at all. Of course, there are other gods and goddesses and totems that can be called in based on our own personal practices. Some people really like to work with Shiva or different goddess, and that's wonderful too. But also just letting Ganesh come and hang out. He's a cool dude. He wants to hang out, and whenever in my cosmology, in our cosmology, whenever the name comes across our mind or across our heart, it's because that entity, deity, when I say entity, I mean the good ones. None of that other stuff is allowed in here. But the deities are actually thinking about us. They're like, hey, remember, I'm here to help you through this situation. And it's like, oh, I just had this thought. So just, saying thank you to Ganesh for being with us here tonight, and saying thank you to all of the ascended masters that are here with us tonight, each one of yours and ours. And we just wanted to, take a moment to share with you some of the symbolism of Ganesh as you share your screen.
Yes. Is there a way to do like full screen?
Yes, you go to present down here.
Present.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So Adam took some time to put together this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you, baby.
Yeah, PowerPoint on a Sunday afternoon. What else is going on?
All right. Can everybody see the screen? You see a big Ganesh?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so what's really beautiful about Ganesh is each one of these symbols pictured, and this is with any deity that we would see, especially in the Hindu lineage, that there's symbols of every little thing. Even the garland around his neck, they don't really point it out all too much in this one, but there's lots of symbolism within here. And if you take a look at it, there's some things when we call upon Ganesh, or he calls upon us, that we can really embrace these ways of being, or these symbols that he carries. And one of the ones that I could take a little bit of learning from is small mouth, talk less. And I've been practicing that. Larry's laughing. I've been practicing that a lot more, and it's amazing what information comes through and what effort goes out. It's like my cup stays full sort of energy. And then when I'm passionate, I can let it rip at the same time. Small eyes, concentration, to like really the focal point. Big head, think big. What are the limitations? Where can these stories of the past of what's possible be let go of? And he represents that. Large ears, to listen more. It reminds me of reading like the I have what big eyes you have, that kind of thing. Blessings, the hand and giving blessings, ahimsa, do no harm. It's not on there, but blessings and protects spiritual path to supreme. You can feel free to read a few as well.
Large stomach, peacefully digest all the good and the bad, right, in life. So
All the karma.
all of it together. Ganesha can digest it for us. The mouse means desire. Unless under control, can create havoc. So it's a reminder for us to also bring that, right, that keep our desires checked and under control. And that way you are always in control and not the desire.
Yeah, and there's actually pictures of Ganesh riding on the mouse in some texts you'll see, and it's about him actually riding the desires to like steer them, kind of like the mouse is a horse or something like that.
There you go. That's a great analogy. And then we have on the right side, we have the rope to pull us near to our higher goals. So thank you, Ganesha, for that, that push, that support. The tusk.
One tusk.
One tusk means retain good and throw away the bad.
Another meaning of that, actually, when Ganesha's picture with one tusk that's cut and the other one, sometimes it's none and the other one's there, is to actually acceptance of differences in the world.
Beautiful. That is very much needed at this time. And so with the trunk, we have high efficiency and adaptability.
What I'm talking about.
Yep. And then modaka is the rewards of sadhana. So the rewards of the practice.
Yeah, his sweets.
And then we have the prasad. The whole world is at your feet and for your asking.
Prasad is actually, for those of you who don't know, it's a blessed food. You know, oh, prasadam is usually how it's served on an ashram. So it's like a blessed food to receive that. So like the whole world is at your feet. After practice, yeah. You want to go to either the next slide or stop sharing screen?
Okay, let's see.
Okay, this is perfect. So with working with Ganesh tonight, I found this cute little Ganesh with a hairdo. It's like a little boy Ganesh, and he's just chilling out with his feet in the air. And I'm like, how cute is this? It's probably something Jen would wear. And the meaning of the mantra, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, and some people can say Om Gam Shri Ganapatiye Namaha, Shri meaning like exalted, is to bow down at the Lord Ganapati with our existence and accepting of his great qualities of our self-being. So he represents all of the qualities that we just showed in the previous slide. We have those same qualities within us. There's just sometimes where the blinders are on, like, oh, I forgot that the whole world is at my feet. I forgot that I can think big. I forgot that this rope is pulling me towards my higher desires. And I forgot that he has blessings for our path to supreme. Just forgot for a moment. But when we just chant Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, and the real true way to chant this is with mala beads and chanting 108 times. And then once you chant 108 times, 108 times, you've mastered the mala in that particular chant. We're going to abbreviate that tonight by dividing 108 into 4. So we will chant this together or silently in your own heart. It's 27 times. The benefit of this mantra is that it wards off negatives from one's life, and chanting of this mantra ensures success in all new ventures that one wishes for. Now, this next little phrase, these aren't my words, I pulled this off, but people must chant this. I just left it at that, like, must chant this mantra before starting any work. Because you can imagine if you start all this work from this balanced place that you know that it's coming and it's being pulled forth, and you don't, you know, and welcome, Brother Fraser. Well, all what are the things that he's removing? The obstacles. I had a brain fart there. Are see, I'm already working with Ganesh. I couldn't even think of the word obstacle. You see how cool that is? I'm going to make up something about that one. So in the next, what we'll be tuning into now is actually a bit of our breath practice. So if you're driving, cool. I think my mom's the only one. Actually, she's a passenger. So we're going to give ourselves some time to settle in this particular place that we're in. And what it'll look like is we're bringing our hands into a pranam or prayer pose. And then we're going to raise our hands up there, shoulder width wide, up above, and kind of look up in between your hands And you're going to look up into what is that beloved for you. You know, if it's the universe, if it's Goddess Sophia, if it's any the dragons, anyone that's calling to you in this moment, and you're going to feel that energy radiating between your palms of who that beloved is for you. It could be sun energy, it could be great spirit. Just feel the palms up in the air, and you'll notice them start to maybe tingle a little bit in between, or a little pulsing energy, just by bringing your attention to that space. And we say thank you, and gently, gently, gently bring your palms together, the masculine and the feminine, the sun and the moon, and your beloved, and pulling them down into your heart.
And
Now,
that's-
in this space here, what was that?
Yeah, I was gonna share that, bring, we're tuning into abundance for 2024, so bring in your dreams, right? And anything that you may be perceiving as an obstacle, as well as you do the chanting, just bring that to your awareness so that you can breathe, right? You can send that energy to support the removing of any obstacles that you're experiencing right now, and also to call forth your dreams, the abundance that we're here to experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with our hands in our heart center right now, the way that this will look is we're moving into our breath and mudra. The actual Ganesha mudra looks like this. You turn your hands sideways so they're laying on top of each other. And then you curl your fingers and pull against your own hands, like you're giving yourself a pull. That is one part of the mudra, and then release the pressure. So you'll feel your back muscles and your chest muscles engage. And then when you release it, you'll feel everything release. So the invitation right here is to give yourself some time to allow your eyes to close and feel the connection of your forefingers against your fingers. And the angle, do you feel like you're in a good balance with your elbows out? Like this is a very mindful space. Feel if you're straight, your finger should be right at your heart center. And just with every breath in, start to visualize any obstacle that is in your space or that you focus in, just leaving you. Any obstacle at all, just watch it leave you right now.
Yeah.
And with every inhale, see a new way of doing things with awareness and vitality. Exhale, obstacles fall away. Inhale, seeing a new way of doing things with clarity and vitality. And what we're going to do now is we're going to inhale, and when we inhale, we're going to pull against our hands. Inhale slowly and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale and release your tension. Inhale and pull. And hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, release. We'll do 2 more together. Inhale, pressure and hold. Exhale, release. One more, inhale. Hold, pull like you got it. Exhale, release. And now grab the thumbs of your opposite hand. You can find a way to grab both of the thumbs at the same time. And give ourselves a big inhale as we hold and pull our thumbs like we're pulling the trunk of Ganesha. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release. Return your hands to pranam at your heart center. You can keep your eyes closed here. And now we will begin to chant together. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. Inhale. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Speeding up now. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Two more. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Allow yourself to sit in this space and just feel.
Feel the space that was created. Connecting with the energy of Ganesh. And just visualize in your mind's eye all those obstacles being removed. And just staying in that beautiful space that's been created, keeping your eyes closed. I'm going to bring in the energy of Kuan Yin to bless ourselves and bless our new year that's coming ahead. Just allow to just keep connecting with your breath, feeling the air entering and leaving your lungs. And now imagine in your mind's eye a beautiful rose-colored light in front of you. Just visualize it, perceive it. Now see that light is getting brighter and brighter. It gets brighter and brighter until you see Kuan Yin herself. And if you haven't seen Kuan Yin, just feel this, just continue to see the light, see that rose light energy, and sense her presence. She's a mature woman with Asian features. And she's wearing an ornate headdress and a flowing robe, sitting in a beautiful pink lotus flower. So just bring that image to your mind's eye. And at the side of you, Kuan Yin smiles, and tears of happiness shine through her eyes. She's so happy to see you. And as she comes closer, just let her radiance shine. Let her strength, her peace, her compassion become part of you. And allow yourself to open up to her beautiful, soft, loving energy. And on your next breath, you notice that she's holding a sacred vessel in her hand. This vessel is filled with the nectar of the divine. And she uses this nectar to bless with prosperity, good fortune, healing, and compassion. Now notice that she comes closer to you and she begins to pour her nectar all over your head. And that nectar spills all over you. You notice how this nectar smells like flowers. It smells like springtime. And you feel this nectar washing over all of your body, blessing you with blessings of prosperity, good health, to begin the new year. Just allow that nectar to wash over you, to bring healing to your heart. And allow yourself to feel yourself the compassion, that unconditional love and compassion coming from Kuan Yin. We take a moment now to express gratitude, to receive the blessings. And then slowly you notice how her light starts dimming. And she's leaving, but I left you with the nectar and the blessings. Thank you, Kuan Yin. Thank you for blessing us on this upcoming year. And with the support of Ganesha by our sides, removing all of our obstacles and the blessing of Kuan Yin, we're now ready to receive the gifts and the blessings that 2024 has in store for us. So just your next breath, just bring your hands to your heart in gratitude to Ganesha, in gratitude to Kuan Yin. And then slowly in your next breath, you can return back to the here and the now, having been filled up with the blessings and the protection of Ganesha. And then you may open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Mm. I love, Mike, that I think it was you, Mike, that you wrote about Ganesha tapestry.
Yeah, I've sensed Ganesha coming into my life, and I got a statue recently in Bali. And then today I was standing in front of this tapestry that I felt called to put right here, and I wasn't sure. And I was like, well, I'm not really sure. And then the image you just displayed of the different elements of him and what they do and how, I'm like, oh, this is like important for where I'm at in my life. And I'm gonna go get it tomorrow now.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've begun to over the last few years observe when things are showing up in the space and that are especially symbolic, to really like, why is this showing up, and look further into it. And there's usually some kind of code that there's an unlocking to. So I'm excited to see what happens when you bring them into your space.
I'll also say that the other one that's been coming into my space is Kuan Yin. And I would sit in front of this statue in Bali and pray in front of her. And I've asked for a statue to come into my life of Kuan Yin and haven't found one yet. So I've been questioning these two, and then like boom, right here. Wow, look at balloons. I don't know how that happened.
How did you do that?
That was Kuan Yin. It wasn't me.
That was Kuan Yin. Yes, she's
There it
here.
goes. It's a peace sign. Makes
Oh.
makes balloons, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
thanks for the confirmation.
Currently
Oh, wow,
reading Becoming
Francesca.
Kuan Yin, Francesca. Oh, how beautiful, how perfect.
And
Yes.
yeah, with that, with Kuan Yin, what a beautiful space. What was coming through is like the balancing of some masculine, remover of obstacles, kind of like torchbearer, trailblazer. In my case, I'm like almost 777, so it's a charioteer. So like, but then the feminine to remind why, like, why are we doing this? Why are we moving path forward? So thank you for bringing in Kuan Yin.
Yeah.
We tune in, when the satsangs are coming around, it's like what's coming through here in the present, without having this like agenda. And at this, so like throughout the day, just in honor of each one of you and in gratitude of each one of you being here who felt the call, like we're mine, even all weekend and like the weeks leading up to, and then today we really sunk in and create, this whole thing so that we can share this time together. And in that time,
And
sure,
then I just wanted to
sacred pause, I'm learning.
that this is an interfaith satsang.
Yes, thank
We
you.
do have the backbone of our teaching is Hindu based, with the Kalinatha, Kali being the goddess, the powerful goddess of creation and destruction. She's also a very loving mother. And then the Nathas were the first who received the teachings of yoga from Shiva.
Shiva, yeah.
And so that's the backbone of the Kalinatha yoga, of the training that we have. But we honor all, really all faith.
Mhm.
And so, that's why I felt, appropriate to bring Kuan Yin, and every satsang will have different essences that will show up.
Yep.
For the
Yeah,
evening.
we got the angels back here holding it down too. What's up, angels? How you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Cool. So, and with that, one of the in our trainings and up on Kashi Ashram, which I invite, we should all go have a trip there. And is a satsang that they would do once a month, and they would usually bring in a teacher to teach on a subject or from a book that they've written or a book that they've integrated into their lives.
Great, sorry, I'm trying to look for something.
There-
But I can't.
I was a little distracted.
I wanted to show you.
Saw this
Kashi.
one. So reading from a book, and that's why we chose 11 Karmic Spaces, well, in this particular satsang. But then I'm like, how cool would it be to actually have a series throughout the year where we do some different readings from 11 Karmic Spaces, because they all feed together so beautifully. And there may be some time where we put that on pause and something else is really coming through, but tonight the reading is really around the distinction of karma. So Claudia and I will do a little bit of reading back and forth here. We're only going to read certain pieces of the chapter on karma because it's a lot more robust, but just so we have some time for discussion at the end and any questions and things like that. So, time for a bedtime story, everyone. Karma. So it's what is karma is this chapter, and a continuous flow of thought. We forget our freedom, but we never stop longing for it. Do you ever wonder why we make the same mistakes over and over? Do you feel like you could be more than you are now? Do you learn to become your true self? This yearning means you have forgotten something that is waiting to be awakened, and it tells you that you are more than you think you are. You long to know and become your true self. From your misunderstanding of that yearning, you may start looking for something or someone to grab onto, something to fill the emptiness within you. When that fails, as it usually does, you look for someone to blame, and in the end, you blame yourself, which leads to self-hatred or acting out. Then it all starts again. Pain-seeking, attachment, blame, self-doubt, and you're right back where you started, trapped over and over again. You degrade yourself by being attached to a drama that has no reality. This is karma, the thoughts, emotions, actions that have become a pattern within your being. That pattern is your trap. Karma is a continuous flow of thought which roots in the past, and it goes on for as long as we live and beyond. It flows from moment to moment and even from lifetime to lifetime. Just as each moment contains the birth of something as well as the death of something, karma can be birthed or broken in any moment. Karma is a word in general use today, but few truly understand the real significance. A word originating in Sanskrit and used in Hinduism and Buddhism, karma has been translated to mean the universal law of cause and effect. Like gravity and magnetism, karma is just how the world works. Actions have consequences. Karma is reflected in common sayings, as you sow, so shall you reap, and what goes around comes around. Because it is universal law. Karma affects all of the human life and is involved in every single thing we do, feel, or think. However, bad karma is not a punishment or retribution, nor is good karma a system of rewards and prizes. Karma itself is neutral and balancing out of the scales of universal law. Every action may contain a chain of effects that goes forward in time much farther than we can see. If you drink and drive, what is the effect of killing someone with your car? Ouch. How does that person's absence change the lives of everyone around him? What results from your absence as you serve time in prison? The chain of karma reaches backward into time. When you were a child, did you ever see your father sometimes drink and drive and get away with it? What forces shaped his life? To try to trace the chains of karmic action and reaction is a humbling experience. For if we are honest, we must soon see that we are all conditioned by our pasts, our childhoods, our culture, and the very fact of being human. Notice how quickly the number of karmic possibilities accumulates beyond the amount of information the human mind can grasp. Universal mind or God mind has no such limits.
Ego arises. The ego knows only separation from God. Karmic patterns are innate, but sorry, okay. But for karma to become active, ego must arise. And this happens soon after birth. An infant is born with a very quiet bliss that covers him or her in the womb. When the child is born, the hardness of reality breaks through and the child cries out, I'm hungry, feed me. I am uncomfortable, clothe me. I am in need of love, love me. This feeling of need is not yet ego, attachment, or karma. It is just a simple reality of being alive. When these needs go unmet, as surely they will at times, we allow a crack to open in the ocean of bliss. We create a separation. The very first ego thought now enters the infant mind. The ego's first thought is not I need, but I want. And this is the beginning of duality. Our natural state of bliss is now divided by the idea that something is missing. If I have this or that, then I'll have my bliss back. This mistaken idea takes hold. The thought I want now takes countless forms. countless ways to keep the soul separate from its birthright. That's what ego is. Our small self, born of forgetting, held together by hunger and separated from bliss. This is the ego as it is understood in most Eastern philosophies, although Western psychology uses the word differently. In its failure to remember anything greater than itself, the ego acts out of its own willfulness. It is through the ego's willful actions that karma is birthed. Day to day, lifetime to lifetime, karma accumulates. With this accumulation, patterns emerge as the ego makes the same mistakes over and over. Then karma solidifies. Ego is the aspect of the individual self that keeps us limited, confused, and out of touch with the universal self. Ego and karma are closely linked. The greater the karma, the bigger the ego. The bigger the ego, the more karma clings to it. That's why the goal of many spiritual practices is to loosen our habit of identifying ourselves with the ego.
We'll take a breath into that for a second. Karmic patterns. The ego plants seeds of suffering and waters them with self-doubt. That's a t-shirt right there. Even a tiny baby determines how tightly her own past karma will wrap around her. How completely will she identify with the duality as it arises? How quickly will she forget the oneness? How eager will she be to embrace the attachments of earth? It's certainly not a rational choice. It's not even a choice of the conscious mind, but there are choices nevertheless. After we have tasted duality in the beginnings of ego, and after our old karma has settled in and surrounded our souls, new karma now has a place to cling. We create new karma through our own actions. But as young children, before our actions carry full karmic consequences, we encounter the judgments of others. You're clumsy. You're just like your father. Or perhaps judgment hasn't even been spoken, but we feel it. Karma adheres to karma. Picture how Velcro sticks to itself, but how not to a smooth surface. Karma works like that. If, for example, you have a karmic pattern that consists of you continually telling yourself that you're no good, then you will embrace every experience that reinforces this belief and reject every experience that challenges it. As children, we constantly pick up clues about who we are. We absorb these clues, develop deep habits, and hold karmic value. In other words, they have grown a karmic root. For example, a child proudly brings a drawing home from school, and her mother ignores it once, twice, 10 times. Every child eventually gets a message from this. A child who has a deep pre-existing karmic root of self-doubt will be more deeply wounded than one who doesn't. She will think that she isn't worthy of her mother's time. She may stop drawing and never return to it again. But another child without such a root may not feel it so deeply.
Good karma, bad karma, and no karma. Good karma may make us happy, but it doesn't make us free. Karma accumulates both the positive and the negative. Our natural state is to be one with God, or in tune with the ultimate spirit. And all karma suppresses this oneness as it creates separation. Anything you bring in from past lifetimes or even the past years of this lifetime weighs heavy on the soul, whether good or bad. The goal is to become empty of karma, positive as well as negative. Karma explains why one person is born with a gift for music and another with a gift for carpentry. It explains how young children can manifest extraordinary abilities. If you take your talents for granted or rely on them and just coast through life, you fail to take on life's challenges and learn new things. Your life may become flat or one-sided. You may feel as if you are in a rut. This is a karmic pattern as well. If you have a gift that you do not use, if you are not where you are supposed to be in life, if you have neglected to nourish your talents, you experience great pain. This seems paradoxical. The goal is to free ourselves from both good and bad karma. Yet we must also be sure to develop our karmic gifts. How can we do both? Finding karmic balance by doing what is new to you, even if it might be challenging. Try not to travel the same old road. Welcome the movement of change. Develop new gifts or add to the old. And above all, be sure to share your talents. Take care that you don't become stuck running along the same old track, positive or negative. You can free yourself from good karma, not through self-denial, but through gratitude for the gifts given to you, by sharing your good fortune and by finding ways to grow in new directions. In this way, you will move towards freedom from karma of all kinds and towards the emptiness and contentment that is your birthright.
So in closing around this chapter, his invitation to let these words in through all of the different examples of karma. Seek your inner aware answers, and you will begin to have new understanding of what you truly need in your life. Gradually, what you want will begin to match up with what you need, and instead of living a dead life of a mental chatter and obsessions, or a sterile life is just a cycle of desires and addictions, you will have a new life and a very alive life. As you begin to recognize karma around you, it can feel as if you've stepped into a different universe. The old rules don't apply. You see your problems with new eyes, and nothing is quite what you thought it was. It's almost like seeing double. The eyes of the ego see the world in one way, and the eyes of the soul see something quite different. All exists inside of you. All you seek is available. There is life. There is a life, a death, and a resurrection in every moment, in every molecule, in every breath.
But just allowing those words to just listen, we can take a moment and just kind of close your eyes and just simply allowing those words to integrate. Just trust that whatever you heard was exactly what needed to be heard. Just allowing the awareness of that new distinction about karma to just start to be born, to just blossom, so that you have the awareness to distinguish. Noticing karmic spaces, noticing patterns, noticing the good karma and the bad karma. Just take another deep breath. And exhale. And just open your eyes again. Beautiful. So now we're going to open up our circle, our space, just to hear what came up for you with the reading. Is what's there, what's present for you, what's alive, what did you hear? And we can bring that to the whole group.
I love seeing all these puppies and kitties and
Yes.
things on the screen as well.
I know you heard our cat was meowing at the neighbor's cat.
Yeah. And I will say that in some of the reading as we go through 11 karmic spaces, like the example of the drunk driver, Ma Jaya does not hold punches. She is all about keeping it real and brings that sort of Kali fierceness into some of the reading. So some of the examples can be a little, strong, but that's, I mean, there's no dancing around it, right? Does anybody want to share about anything, any awarenesses that came about any current karmas that you're struggling with? Or it's an open share. This is a part where we can kind of speak it into a space and move the energy.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. This is Nelson. Hi, everybody. Thank you for, by the way, thank you for holding such a beautiful space like you two over Zoom. It's always an honor to be in your presence, your energy, and all my friends here, your beautiful wife. What came to me, two things came to me. Yeah, I've had moments of that, the rut, like unable to break free, like there's something, some resistance, some gravity, the Velcro pulling me, right? And that's what I wanted to talk to you about tomorrow morning in our session, like just moving forward. Because in the last 2.5 years, and I've been in the spiritual movement, or the spiritual work, it's like there's a lot coming up, a lot. We'll go over that tomorrow, but thank you. Thank you for, Bea had shared that book with me, was reading chapters way back. And I was like, wow. And I looked for it on Audible, on YouTube, and it's not in existence. But I haven't had a chance to read it, but it got brought to my memory. Thank you. I asked her, do you have that? And she had it with her and read the chapter. So I look forward to reading it again. But what I wanted to share, and it's open for discussion, guys. Alex always says, we don't know. We don't know the long-term ripple effect of something, what we perceive as a good act or a bad act. But so many people that I've met in Alcoholics Anonymous and to my works of life, their worst case, their worst nightmare has become their greatest blessing. So can you pour into that? I'm open, like the worst thing, that drunk driving, yes, the family of the generations, but yet some people are able to take this and turn lemons into lemonade, whatever that story is, right? They're able to take that. And that's what I want to tap into. So thank you for sharing that beautiful story. That's what came to mind. Thank you for letting me share.
Mind if I take that one?
Yes.
Yeah, so like what she shares, when there's a certain karma that's happening that leads up to drunk driving, to the point where something actually catastrophic could happen. So it's not about, oh, the drunk driving is my gift. It's all the karma that came into that person's awareness, and that awareness could be, found in a small cell. Doing time. That awareness could be any little thing. It's like after I repeat the pattern over and over and over, eventually there's that aha moment of like, okay, and then it becomes a gem. And some people can say that the biggest traumas that happen in life equal the superpower, because there's that balance that Ma Jaya shares about. It's the laws of the universe, like the karmas are always in balance of each other. Based on this cosmology, take what lands, leave the rest, but there is a certain thing, and I could share even for myself, if I keep repeating a certain pattern over and over and over, and the result, I finally get to the point where I'm done with this. And then that kind of like self, beat up stops. Maybe there's some forgiveness work that happens, and that's where that samsara or samskara, which is like a repeating pattern, is samsara, birth and life, but the samskara is like everything that we build up along the way. So I got this bag of karmas, and each one of those karmas can have a different reality into when it becomes ripe, as they would say. And then that karmic fruit becomes ripe, and you're like, and it becomes a gift. It becomes a gem.
I think, is there a way to change your karma? Is there a way to consciously change your karma?
I mean, are you aware of things today that you weren't yesterday?
Yeah, every day.
There you go.
Yep. There are ways to balance the karma by the actions that you take, every action that you're taking today, all those every day you have a new opportunity.
Yep.
Can it be done unconsciously?
I don't know.
Right now, think about that.
Only my unconscious would know.
I mean, an ego's actions, is the spirit responsible for an ego's actions? Is the karma linked to a spirit?
That's the duality. That's the karma is the things that are in the way of divine connection with source. Yeah. So like even in the spirit and the ego, that's a dualistic way of thinking. Only the ego could think that. So there's karma in the way of actually being in that oneness consciousness. That's the work that's being done here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brother Nelson.
Yeah, good question.
I have a question that hey everybody, I came late to the satsang. I have a quick question because I missed it. What is the name of this book?
11 Karmic Spaces.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. I have to get that. Just from the little bit that I heard. Thank you guys for, first of all, having this satsang and for introducing this book. It's not the first time I've heard you guys mention this book, but like just hearing the little bit I heard today and like this discourse and satsang, I think I need to get that book for sure.
Yeah, it's available in paperback and I think either PDF and Kindle. On Amazon, it's on Kindle and paperback. It's
Awesome.
The 11 Karmic Spaces.
The 11 Karmic Spaces. Okay.
And so on our next satsang, we're actually going to start going over the first karmic space. And so if you want to follow along, you can read
Yep.
the first one, like up to the first, and
Yep.
we'll be, just discussing that because the idea is she really gives us a beautiful map for us to recognize our patterns.
Mhm.
And then, as Adam mentioned in the beginning, how to turn that into fuel.
Yeah.
When you find yourself stuck in a rut or dealing with these patterns that keep showing up.
Francesca.
Francesca.
Hello, good evening.
Oh, good evening.
Hi, everyone. Oh my God, I feel like I just had a major, kind of overwhelming epiphany so yeah, I mean, but I think it's really going to help me moving forward. So, I think a lot, I'm more rooted in, like the Dharma teachings from the insight meditation practice. Like that's my Sangha and my community. And so we talk a lot about the teaching specifically of the Buddha and karma, and breaking karmic patterns of thought and behavior. And I share this a lot with my teacher that the behavior pattern in my life, the actual actions where I see the most disconnect, right? Where there is a lack of mindfulness is like how I eat and how I drive. And I always said with driving, right? It's, and if this is triggering to anyone, I apologize. I don't know if anyone here has lost someone to, to mindless driving, right? But is using my phone, like texting while I'm driving. And the aha moment I had right now was I'm drunk driving. I mean, like really, really. And I get to like, I think conceptualize it that way, right? Because in the example, I was like, well, I don't drunk drive, I don't drink, right? Like I'm not that, right? And, I have struggled with this for a while and coming back to the roots of this very mindless pattern that could have far-reaching consequences for myself and other people's lives, is the illusion of separateness, right? Like I think that attachment for me to the phone, and usually it's messaging with people, with loved ones. Usually it's like a voice note, a text message, it's relational. And of course, the social health and connection is like fundamental to like well-being and connectedness. And I feel so attached sometimes to my phone because, I live alone, I'm single, right? Like I have my cat, but that's different. So I don't, I seek that. Like I often do feel, right? Like if I don't have that connection, then it does reveal the emptiness or the void, right? The thing that, I mean, I'm sure we all run from on some level. And my karmic pattern has gotten really, 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 really fucking deep, like with my phone. And it shows up in the really, in really dangerous ways, like with my, with certain behaviors. So, and, we talk a lot to the question about like, well, can you, break, break karmic patterns? What we talk about a lot in my Sangha is that it's not just about changing the action, right? Because karma is actually in the intention of behind the action, right? So like if I, donate a bunch of money to a cause, if I'm donating to like build my ego, right? Oh, because I want my name on a building or what have you, then I'm actually generating negative karma, right? So it's not, just in the action, but like in the intention behind the action. And it's and cultivating, and that's right why we cultivate the heart and the mind, like through spiritual practice. And it takes so much, and silencing the mind and cultivating heartfulness and gratitude and compassion or humility is like it's so it must be a very active and conscious practice. And the last thing I'll say is oh God, that nugget, like the good karma might make us happy, but it does not free us. And that's something to help break attachment to that is like is gratitude. Was really, really helpful. I think it's it's challenging in some ways. The last piece of this that came up for me that I've always thought is like emotionally and mentally, the thought patterns that you're talking about, these continuous flows of thought, like in my experience have been the mental patterns of thought are depressive loops and stories. And those have always felt for me like lifetimes old. Like I'm coming in with some like very deep rooted flows of thought from the past, and those are the ones that sometimes feel like most difficult to uproot. They're so fucking powerful. And that's what happens when it's like lifetimes over lifetimes over lifetimes. They're so powerful. Like and sometimes in my journey, I feel defeated, when I feel like I can't seem to break, some of the cycles. Like it feels that deeply rooted. Anyway. I appreciate the reflection so much and the reading. So yeah, it's just some of the stuff that came to mind.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful share and a powerful gem, right? The intention behind the action.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think that's that is really right. Like that's when we give ourselves that opportunity to kind of be able to see it, right? Because we're in it. A lot of times we're not even aware of it, so like kind of stepping back and then giving ourselves the opportunity to just take a moment to see that those patterns is what becomes an interruption, right? And then there are lifetimes of that, so of course it's not going to be clear in one shot, right? But that's it's that the practice that we're in, and that we do the best we can, and we continue to choose those thoughts that are empowering and be able to transcend some of these karmic spaces and some of these patterns, right? That's the triumph. And that's why it's so important for us to keep reminding, and it's really our intention to creating this space is for that, to remind ourselves that we're not alone, and also to just continue to be in that practice to, transcend above those really deeply rooted patterns. It's a great share. Thank you, sister.
And as we go along in the book, and hopefully you can make these, once a month Sundays, we'll be, and even tuning into the book ourselves, there's so much there. There really is, like, between the discovery of it, and it's not like, oh my God, this discovery of it, now I got this thing that I'm holding, that I'm aware of, that I've been doing. Then there's another karma of what do I make up about that? And where do I go into a depressive state or a beat up space, or because of that awareness? And then that now we're like filling up this platter of all these karmic awarenesses. But then you got to be able to eat the good and the bad. And that's when we work with Ganesh, and we work with reading these different books where Ma will actually share about the gift and the blessing of how to move through that karmic space. And then it's like, then we start looking for it. Like, okay, what's next? What else is hidden in those shadows? You know what I mean? And it becomes really great. And then being in this space of once a month and allowing some of that integration to come up, and the reminder of tuning into source and getting closer to that connection with source will allow like, here's my regular ego eyes, and here's my eyes now where I've got spirit and ego both looking at the same thing, as was shared in the reading. So I could start to look at things from more of a I am that I am place, not that I'm the texter. That the identification with that thing starts to loosen its grip a little bit, and we become more identified with source, the superconscious, being able to view this subconscious stuff. And as you know, Francesca, in your profession, like, that's really what it is. But sometimes that missing of the superconscious, like, okay, great, now I'm this 3D ego space and I have an awareness of this ego thing that I've been doing of my karma. Now what the fuck do I do with this? I'm full, and I start acting out. But from the superconscious, it's like, oh, thank you for the gift, right? And Mike has his hand up. Bringing the Peruvian vortex fire energy into the house.
Burning some karma right now. Yeah, as we speak. It was my plan to have a fire, and it's funny that Eric called me like 1 minute before this call. It was like, "Hey, you jumping on the call?" And I was like, "What call?" And you guys are like my best friends in the world, and I didn't even know that this was happening, or that it was about this book, which you've been talking about forever. But I'm grateful that like tonight's provided an introduction to it, because I mean, clearly, even just with the synchronicity of Ganesha and Kuan Yin and this talk, it's like clearly perfectly lined up and something that's helping. And my awareness in listening to that was, there's been this like block, for lack of a better word. I mean, I've talked to you guys 8,000 times about it. It's like been going on for years now about like trying to transform this journey that I've been on, this travel sabbatical, induce some type of service and financial stability and calling and all of this. And it's been the most frustrating thing of my life, because it's like I can never put my finger on what the hell has been that I've been trying to break through. And okay, I could label it as like self-doubt, or like fear, or I need more courage, or like it's this belief and I don't have enough knowledge yet, or whatever, 8,000 stories. And as much as I know karma to be true and believe it with like all my heart, I've never really, I guess, paid attention or deep dive or linked it to kind of things in my life. And as I was listening, I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait a minute, this whole thing could just be this karmic thing. And maybe I don't need to know exactly where it came from, but I guess I get tired. My mind gets tired out trying to put labels on it and to dissect it and to figure out what I need to do. And I get so attached to the things that are not working and like all of that. And I know better, and I know to focus on, the positive thoughts. But it's almost like I felt a bit of an unburdening listening to this. Like, oh, I don't have to make this so personal about my life or what has been so frustrating for me to. Holy shit. Sorry, this dog just walked up next to me, and this is my favorite dog in town. He literally just walked up a mountain, and he's right here. Hey, Paco. Um, um, so, oh my God, he's a black dog that scared the hell out of me.
Ooh, karma.
Yeah, you could see. Yeah, this is Paco, and he's a karma clearing dog. But it's like it made it feel not so personal and burdensome, but like, okay, it just is because of something that happened in my path. And this week, I don't remember where I heard it from, but somebody was talking in a talk about like God. It might have been like Aaron Abke. I've been watching a lot of him, and he speaks a lot about the I am. So I've been focusing so much on that. But it was about like continuing to penetrate through. And like if something doesn't happen the first time or the second time, it's like, but you're stopping short, and God's like literally giving you an opportunity to keep going, keep going, keep going. So I kind of felt this thing that I've been battling. I don't even want to say battling anymore, but just is like keep going. And it's that simple. It's like that simple. It's like the tools will keep showing themselves. The assistance from the spirits, from the deities, from life, Ganesha, all of that will just keep revealing themselves, the calls, whatever. But I can uncomplicate it in my mind and stop looking for like what is the key to all of this, and just keep burning, keep penetrating to be like, oh, it's this, it could very well just be this karmic thing. And that's okay. Like, oh my God, it's not on me anymore. It kind of felt like, and like it's gonna happen eventually. And I think I heard it in the point of the talk where it was, I forgot how they phrased it, but it was just like,
Oop, you got muted.
You got muted, Mike.
sorry, I touched the headphone technology.
That was a cliffhanger.
It's yeah, right. It's just the part about like keep doing your patterns differently. So if my thing has been procrastination, if it's been like putting it off till tomorrow, it just helped me see it more clearly. Like keep waking up each day and working to penetrate through. And then when Nelson was speaking, something just like flinched in my body when he said turning lemons into lemonade, and this thing being like, all right, whatever is perceived as negative, no, this is like, fuel, this is juice to be forged into something. So and I also love the part about emptying yourself of the good and the bad karma, and that it's not one or the other to focus on, but like just empty it all, which very much resonates with the I am, which I feel like, I was in mystery school with you guys, and I always even perceived the I am as one way, but only until the last really few weeks. I've been watching a lot of Aaron Abke. I love this guy. I've been like waking up and meditating on it and feeling it. And that feels like a good place to keep focusing on, rather than this math equation of like, how do I need to unfuck myself and figure my way out of this? Yeah.
Boom.
It's like they say, directions to get out of the box are on the outside of the box. It's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
beautiful share.
Yeah, beautiful share. Awareness, and that's exactly it, really get the mind out, when you try to figure it out, go into the mind, it's like it's a trap, right? That's not where we're gonna find the answers. So really stepping into like, connecting to the I am, and then just, reminding ourselves, right? It can be simple, if we, sometimes we take the opportunity and the time to connect with other communities so that we can be the reminder, right? Because when we're in it, it's so easy to just keep being pulled into that.
Yeah. And it's really cool to see, like, from the, this work, if you will, kind of overlaps with so many other works. I could pick a number, but like Course in Miracles and even psychology. So like as the projection of our reality out through this like movie camera projector, and a lot of you have already heard me like share about this before, like as that projection starts to become clear of good karma, bad karma, there's a projection of like an empty mirror inside, and it can be divine love. There's not the meaning making of anything that's happening out in front, and why, what's it for, and all that confusion of the mind starts to like settle down, because the projector, the film, it's just light. There's like not a movie playing of all of our past experiences of karma. So I'm projecting out this karma, that karma, this karma, and it's going to keep reinforcing in everything that's showing up. Oh, there's not enough. There's not enough. She doesn't love me. They won't stay with me. They don't text me back. All these little things that bring up all this other stuff. It just becomes more still. So it's like a beautiful thing that'll like, and that's kind of what she was sharing, is like the world in front of us begins to transform as our only awarenesses of the karma become integrated.
Integrated and then transformed into fuel.
Yeah, and even you mentioned
fuel.
about procrastination. There's a chapter on that in the book that is like landed pretty big for me when I originally read it, and still does every time.
Beautiful, beautiful share. Anybody else would like to add your voice?
Thank you for sharing the website, Eric, I believe, kashi.org.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, that was you?
That was
Okay,
me.
you shared it. Sorry, I see somebody else because we're using Claudia's computer, but my Zoom, so.
Getting all the credit tonight, huh?
Are you? Yeah.
Mike, you actually called me so 1 minute before this call. So,
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah.
but just to clear that up, thank you
Higher
for,
self. Yeah, he's higher self.
Thank you, Mike.
Wanted him
but,
to be-
I'm glad you got on and I'm glad you stayed, even though you know, it was just meant to be. So,
Well, real quick, I tell Adam all the time, like, I'm like, oh, I got stuff to do. I'm an easy like sell. All you gotta do is pull me in a little bit, and then I'm there the whole time. Here I am.
just come in the first 5 minutes. Just come on.
I
Just,
interest you in desserts.
no, but as I was listening to that and, talking about not using your spiritual gifts or your gifts, I was feeling a little of that before, like in the past years. And I've seen that, like, as I shift into, sharing more of my gifts and showing up more, I feel like my karma is getting lighter.
Hmm.
And I don't know if there's like a level or whatnot, but like there is ways to burn karma. It's living your life like as best and as fully as you can. And
Yep.
also there's like stuff that Sadhguru will teach you that will apparently burn off even more karma. But I'm not there yet as many as some of my close friends are, but I'm it's a work in progress too.
Yeah, there's many paths, like they say, many names, many paths, all one.
Mhm.
There can be, by Mama Deborah, there can be, like I've said it to Nelson, and I've shared this, and I remember reading it one time, or at least it's the way that I perceived it in my mind when I read these words off a page. The highest state of euphoria is not a drug, it's being in integrity with ourselves. Like, because if I'm in integrity with myself and I'm living in alignment with all these different domains of my life, like I'm Metatron and I'm this, spiritual quantum architect, and I got all these circles that overlap, and there are all these purposes and all these relationships and triangles, and in each one of those things, I'm like present to it all, and I can back away from it and see it from an empty lens. I can then manifest and create into my life from a place of nothing, not from a place of what I already know, all my limitations, all my doubts about it and everything. But then when I'm looking at these different domains and just keep refining, like, okay, this is, like you said, live your life. And if you're living your life on your terms, to me, that sounds like integrity in my, because everybody's in integrity with themselves only all the time. If my intention is to be an asshole and I be an asshole, I'm in integrity. Does that serve me? I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, if my life path is be an asshole and I don't be an asshole, you know what I mean? Like, things just start to flow in, and you start to have this like, oh wow, this is just what things are. And somebody comes up and says boo, or doesn't call you back, there's not all these triggers right close to the surface. That's what you and I talk about often, in your kind of language, like, on my triggers. And like, but when we're like, our cup is full because we're living our life in our own, what we should be, and we're communicating our boundaries and choosing where we want to be with the people we want to be in, doing what we want to do. I'm still on that path. I've got a pretty good gap in some of these domains, but I'm getting there. It's like, wow, this doesn't feel good, but it's serving a purpose now, but I really want to be here, and start taking those steps. And that's in integrity. And then the triggers are like non-existent.
Mm.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I like
Nice.
you share about the gifts. I wanted to see here by a show of hands who feels like you're sharing your gifts in the world. We got Natalie, Larry, beautiful. Justin, great. Jen, beautiful.
I would love to say something.
Yeah.
On sharing gifts, because I've been studying the kingdom of God in the last several years, and I am new to being seen. So thank you for seeing me right now. Ganesh was one of my first visitors. I woke up and just got so many visitors that I almost didn't, I had to look most of them up. I didn't really know what was going on. But I found Ganesh was incredibly helpful for my chakras. So like right now, when we were just working with Ganesh, I actually saw the trunk come in to my third eye and just suck anything out that was disserving, removing obstacles literally from my chakras.
Wow.
And when I was leaving the store late, so I thought I was late to the call. You're never late, but I was pretending to be late. So I was driving, and then all of a sudden I started seeing what was the best way I could describe it was like smoke, purple smoke coming off of earth. So I started seeing purple, like flame, not quite flames, but like if you were to have a hot cup of coffee, the steam, and the steam was coming up, and then beautiful purple ribbons and a lot of beautiful energy, and Kuan Yin, the goddess of mercy. Like there is so much magic in this whole moment with all of you right now. And I know it's the most important times to be sharing our gifts. We are in a very unique time, and we're so blessed to be here and to be chosen and to choose to respond. So I wanted to share how Ganesh has helped me so much to remove physical issues within my body, just like suck him right out with this trunk, put him into his belly, and transmute him to the light. So however it works, it's good to be here with all of you guys.
Yay.
Oh, sister, thank you for sharing that. That is very profound. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we got to meet Michelle and actually Larry last weekend, and thank you both for being on and saying
Yes,
yes
thank
so
you.
so quickly to be here. Yeah, just keep growing the good work.
Whew, I got chills. The purple
Me too.
stem, yeah.
Purple ribbons and smoke, yeah.
Oh, very profound. Thank you.
And
Mhm.
just, we can keep conversing a little bit, but just to keep, like, the call was originally scheduled and advertised as 7 to 8:30. So anybody who needs to hop off, absolutely,
Yeah.
if there's anybody who would like to share anything more,
Anything more? You're welcome to now, and then we'll do just a closing eye process, and then we'll pop off.
Mhm.
I want to share just a little bit of the Kuan Yin story for me. As a Kuan Yin has been in my space since I was a little girl, but I didn't know who she was. And going through this work, and I realized who she was, I was like, oh my God, no wonder. I used to, like, in Venezuela, where I'm original from, and I was born and raised, we don't celebrate Halloween. Oh, well, now they do, but in my time they didn't celebrate Halloween, so it was Carnival, and usually used to be in like a February time, and then that Halloween costume in times was like an Asian looking for me. So actually with Sister Marlu, I don't know if she's still here, but oh yeah, she's there. So Sister Marlu, who is my beloved ex-wife, but she's my dear sister. She we had past life together, two of them at least, that we can recognize and remember in this lifetime. So the Kuan Yin energy, put it as part of Mother Mary and all that stuff, so present. So thank you for just bringing it today, because it's super 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 connected for me, and on the light and the benevolent mother, right? So I put it in the chat there. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I just want to share that.
Thank you, Clau.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you for always toting Kuan Yin around in your pocket.
Yes. Beautiful. Any last shares? Anybody like to add your voice to this beautiful space?
Hi, Natalie. She got her phone sideways.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. She's really standing up. Yeah, I mean, if there's really no other shares, that's completely understandable. I remember, I'll just share one. I put these are malas that we were actually exchanged for our wedding, but I had another pair that my first mantra that I spoke was Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. And I was like on a deep personal spiritual journey like a decade ago or so at this point. I first met Justin in that space. I was at Kula Yoga Shala, and I would chant the Ganesh mantra so much on these beads that they were like light color, and they were really dark from all the oils in my hands and things like that. And they were starting to become frayed, and then we were I'm still mixing it up if we were either at 16,500 feet in Peru, or if we were up when we were hiking to the sunrise in Jordan. Where did we hike up in the sunrise? Where was that, Mike?
It was in Mount Sinai.
Mount Sinai. But either way, I was called to like gift these beads to the earth at this vortex. I was like, but wait, like these are my Ganesh beads. Like, what are you talking about? I've had these for like a decade 108 times at least, like, and it was my time to be kind of complete with working with Ganesh for that time, because it was like this obstacles had been like so cleared up. Now it became like, okay, some Shiva energy, some Krishna playful energy, and then Ganesh came back again in my space, and it's such a beautiful remembering, and I'm like welcoming in working with Ganesh again and seeing how you work with Kuan Yin, you know, and all the other goddesses. Well, Sekhmet and the different things you're doing, but like to welcome back Ganesh back into my life, it's my commitment to sit every morning and chant the mantra. And I'm inviting anybody to come along, because in the space of unity consciousness, starting our day by asking and praying and for removing of obstacles and pulling our highest desires towards us and digesting all that karma, good or bad, completely into the space of I amness. If you want to join in, we can have that be a sadhana, at least from now until the next satsang, and then we can maybe shift up into another mantra at that point. So
What time is that?
no, you can do at your leisure, whenever. It's like not something we would do together. I don't need to put anything else in my calendar right now. Know what I'm saying? But you know, on your own, you know, just as a daily, as it comes, you know.
Adam, how many times did we chant it before? It seemed like you had a specific number.
27. That's 4. That times 4 is 108, and 108 is Mala.
Yep. I noticed how it actually went by fast as we were going faster. So
Yeah, you just can build that energy, you know.
build it up and actually do more repetitions.
I thought it was like 8. Okay, 27. Got it.
27, yes. Brother Justin.
Hi there, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Namaste.
I wanted to just thank you for this. It's so interesting because in my practice, both personal and when I work with people, I typically don't call out to or work with individual deities. I don't call upon them, but I always feel the presence of them. So I don't like call on Ganesha or Kuan Yin or Yahweh, or I really just always connect to God or the absolute. And so this has been good because it's kind of like give me a different reference of like having my own experience with Ganesha, with Kuan Yin, and knowing that I can call upon them. And so I just wanted to thank you, because even when I work with people who are more sensitive and aware, and I guess you would say spiritually like receptive and connected in my practice, they're like, do you realize how many beings are here right now? Like just like that come through you and support you, what you're doing. And I'm like, yes, I do feel them. And so this has just been like, since they are there all the time, I probably should be addressing and connecting with them more versus just like being grateful that they're there supporting this space whenever I'm holding space for others. So yeah, this has been really opening. And then to talk about karma as well, because you know, and we're all on our path, and I noticed certain things that like I've really been thank you, Mike, for talking about the I am presence a few times, because that's something that I've been very disciplined more recently, just every day as much as I can. Whenever I'm not in that space, I'm like, oh, I'm not in the I am, or thinking about I am, or God I am, and then like even letting that go and really just trying to be in the vibration of when I say that, what that feels like, instead of doing it like a mantra. And then I'll have so many good days, and I feel like every time I work I have a great day, and then whenever like I'm not working and I'm more in like the family dynamic space, it's like, oh, things are coming up. It's like, here's the real work, right? When I'm working, it's not like the real work. It's when we're with the family, that's the real work. So it's so I feel like there's definitely some karmic family stuff that I need to bring more awareness to, and the intention behind my actions, which was mentioned by Francesca. So thank you for mentioning that. So it was really, really beautiful to hear everyone share, because it was like another little piece to kind of give more meaning to my own experience. And yeah, just thank you for letting me share.
So beautiful, brother. Thank you for being here
Beautiful share.
and for sharing, right? And even your
My
vulnerability.
pleasure.
Oh, I not necessarily call upon these deities, right? But they're there. And it sounds like this was an invitation for you to
Yes.
call them forth and
Yeah.
and build a relationship if that's, you know, feels in alignment with you. I think that
Mhm.
every time we do that, it's like that essence, that energy just becomes more alive, right? So it's like more and more light that's being sent to them because of our awareness of them and our intention to connect.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And in
Yeah.
the last piece, I think the reason that I always felt weird, it's like, why, like with Jesus, I always wondered, like, because in Christianity, it's like you have to go through Jesus to get to God, and I think, well, why would I have to go through a being to get to the ultimate being if even that being said that the ultimate being is in all of us? So I think from that own like perception, I've kind of like stayed away from all of them consciously, and so this really opened up. It opened up my perception in a way because it's they are all here. They all self-realize themselves as that. So why not work with the gifts that they are all known for, that their purpose was, and their experience that they continuously represent and share. And so, yeah, if anyone has gone through that or is going through that, I totally relate because it's like, why go through the middleman whenever I could just go to God? And it's really the humility and being humble of actually working through them, I think, is the true gift. So thank you.
Mm.
Yeah, for me, like in my mapping kind of mind, very masculine aspect, I really enjoyed when I started to learn about Hindu deities because of like there was like a map, like okay, when I'm working with this, I can call upon, you know, Shiva. If I'm working with this, and I can call upon, you know, Ganesh. I'm working with this, I can call upon Saraswati for creative. There's just these little, each one of them holds a component of the overall, but it's like I can actually be like, all right, well, right now I can tune into source, but when I really tune into this, like this expression that wants to come forth to create this experience that or help me move through what I'm confronting, I really enjoyed that. I like having little maps. That's what they were because they all represent, you know, there's no like one is God. They are all, you know, and but yeah, as in the Christian mindset, it's a little bit like, wait, what? You know?
Yeah, totally.
I remember calling in all my ancestors one time, and then I had this awareness. They were like, "Psst," and I'm like, "What?" Like, we're already here. You don't have to keep calling us in. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
We're just hanging, you know what I mean? Like we're waiting for you to be like, oh shit, I forgot. You know?
Okay.
So yeah, same thing. I had the same exact awareness. I was like, wait a minute, they're all just here, you know?
Can I share something else?
Awesome. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, brother. Thank you.
Can I share some? So
Thank you, Jeff.
what it is, thank you, brother. So what it is for me, like I had shared in the past, because I was told why you have to bring all these deities, like they can have this type of energy or that type of energy. I'm like, well, at this point in my experiences, you have these different uh enlightenment beings in these different other dimensions, right? And then we honor them for the path that they walk when they were present here, or like if it was just in that dimension, then they've been working and helping and holding us for so long. And in the same way, how I see them in the terrain, in the planet, in the humanity, the people that, like all of you, that I honor, respect, and give reverence and inspired by. So it's the same way. Like I have them in those dimensions, and I have all of you here. So this is the way how I see those deities. Like we have they have their names, and Claudia and Adam and Justin and Eric and Steve and Natalie and Ali and Trish and all of you and Marlu and Nelson have all your Michelle. So they all have their names. So honoring the path that we're all walking together and the path that they walk or they still walk with us in another dimension, like you say, with the ancestors as well. So that's what I
Boom.
feel.
Beautiful.
As above, so below.
Yep, beautiful.
I'll take it all. I'll take the village. Takes a village.
Beautiful share.
Thank you.
Gotta write that one down.
Yes. So let's go ahead and just close our eyes and just take a moment to just integrate what we just experienced today. Thank you all for feeling the call and showing up to this sacred hour and a half together. And then bringing to our awareness Ganesh and the trunk. Thank you, Michelle, for that beautiful visual in our practice, and just allowing the trunk of Ganesh right now to just move through. Notice if there's just one chakra that feels more blocked, just inviting Ganesha in to remove any blockages from that chakra, and just visualizing that beautiful purple dust surrounding you as Ganesha is clearing your energy field, clearing out any karma, digesting it all for you. And then just bringing up to our awareness Kuan Yin again, and her pouring her nectar all over us, blessing us with compassion and mercy. And then to close, just allow yourself to become empty. Let's just become empty of it all, empty of the good karma, bad karma, and just allow yourself to just be empty. Be an empty vessel for your dreams to come in. Visualizing all those karmic patterns being burned away. And then bringing gratitude for all of the entourage that shows for each one of us. We all have a spiritual entourage that walks beside us. So it's taking a moment to express our gratitude to all of our entourage, our spiritual entourage. And being grateful to our soul for being here. Yeah, and then on your next breath, just allow that to simply be, and then just gently just come back to the space and bring that space forth for your week moving forward. And remember the practices and the teachings that we talked about today, so you can call Ganesha upon anytime. So with that,
I gotta
thank
say,
you.
your opening and closing prayers that are coming through these days are just like, what? Like transform. I can't even, it's just like, amazing.
Mhm.
That's not written down anywhere, you know what I mean?
Thank you. Thank
Renee,
you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Many, many blessings.
Thank you for being here.
And Happy New Year
Thank
again.
you for hanging.
New you.
Many, many blessings.
Many blessings. No sleeping.
No sleeping.
I'll sleep
Love
here
you
for you.
all. Stay tuned for our next satsang. Actually, it's March 10th. I'm
Yeah.
gonna bring it up.
Okay.
So March 10th, Sunday, March 10th.
Same time.
Good night, everybody.
Night, everyone.
Love you.
Love
Good
you.
night.
Love you. Bye.
Night.
Good night.